Welcome to the second session of Module 5, uh, spur gears. So in this session, we are going to derive the equation for law of gearing or condition for correct gearing and conjugate action, types of tooth profiles and difference between the different tooth profiles, and derivation on different conditions. Okay, so let us see what is the law of gearing. So here, first of all, in order to obtain a proper meshing or a smooth running between the wheel and the pinion, there should be a standard law of gearing, or we have to maintain this law of gearing. So what does it say? The common normal to the tooth profile at the point of contact should always pass through a fixed point, which is also called as pitch point, in order to obtain a constant velocity ratio. Especially when the two gears are in mesh, in order to obtain a constant velocity, so there should be a condition. So that condition is described in the law of gearing. So in order to understand this statement, so we have to consider the actual figure or actual gears. So let us consider two curved bodies. So here instead of teeth, we are considering the two curved bodies, because if it satisfies the condition in these curved bodies, same thing is applicable for the gear tooths. Okay, so let us consider the two curved bodies. This is body number 1 and this is curved body number 2, and rotating about their centers, O1 and O2, and contacting at this point. Okay, contacting at this point. So here omega 1 and omega 2 represent the angular velocity of curved bodies 1 and 2. Okay, so let us draw a straight line which is passing through the center of a rotation. Okay, so through the point of contact between the two curved bodies, I am drawing a common normal. So this is called the common normal, and I am going to name it as n dash. Okay, so I am going to draw a common normal through the point of contact between the two curved bodies. Okay, so through the same point of contact, I am going to draw the common tangent, and I am going to name this one as T dash. So this is common tangent and this is common normal. So here common tangent and common normals are mutually perpendicular to each other. Okay, so once we draw this common tangent, next step is, so we have to draw a line through the center of rotation to the point of contact. This is called pitch point. Okay, so draw a line through the center of rotation to the pitch point. Similarly, for the second body, from the center of rotation to the point of contact or pitch point, draw a line. Okay, since these curved bodies are rotating, so their linear velocities are perpendicular, right? So perpendicular to this, a linear velocity is acting, that is VA1. Let me call this one as VA1, and this linear velocity is perpendicular to this curved body. Okay, so next, similarly for the second body, its linear velocity is perpendicular to it, therefore perpendicular to this, draw a line. Now I am going to represent this angle made by the first velocity with respect to the common normal as alpha, and the velocity of a second body with respect to a normal as beta. Now I am going to join the endpoints of the velocity using straight line. Then I am going to draw a horizontal line to the vertical line to the common tangent through the endpoint of the velocity, second body. Then similarly, the velocity of the first body, we are drawing a vertical line till it touches the common tangent, because we are going to obtain the different triangles, so it becomes easy for us to derive the equations or unknown values. So next I am going to call this pitch point or point of contact as A, and this point as B, then this one as C, this one as F, this one as D, and this one as E. Okay, then wherever the line passing through the center of rotation and the common normal intersect, let me call this one as point B, intersection point as point B. Okay, next I am going to draw a perpendicular line. See, this line is perpendicular to this common normal. So perpendicular line, and it touches the center of rotation. Touches the center of rotation. Similarly, and I am going to call this one as a G. Similarly, I am going to draw a perpendicular line from this common normal, and it touches the center of rotation of the second body. Okay, so this is the figure I required in order to derive the equation for law of gearing. So I am going to call the point where we drawn the horizontal line, perpendicular line from the normal to the center of rotation as H. So next one, so here let omega 1 and omega 2 be the angular velocity of curved body 1 and 2, and here VA1 and VA2 represent the linear velocities of point A, because A is the pitch point, common point for both body 1 and 2. So T1 represent the common tangent, whereas N dash represent the common normal. So in order to maintain the two bodies in contact, the component velocities of A1 and A2 along the common normal must be equal. See, which is nothing but, see, this is the common normal. So if I consider this as a triangle, that is ADF and AFC, so this AF is a common side for both the triangle, right? So this AF is a common side for both the triangle ADF and AFC. Therefore, so we can write like this, because if I consider this triangle ADF, if I consider this triangle ADF, AF represent the adjacent side, right? AF is the adjacent side, therefore cos alpha. So VA1 cos alpha. Suppose if I consider AF belongs to the other triangle, that is AFC, AF becomes VA2 cos beta. Therefore both are equal. AF is common for both the triangle, therefore they are equal. VA1 cos alpha is equals to VA2 cos beta. Call this one as equation number 1. So here VA1 is nothing but the velocities, right? So velocities in terms of angular linear velocity in terms of angular velocity, how to write? So we know that V can be written as omega into R, correct? Omega into R. So here also in place of VA1 we can write, so omega 1 into, so what is radius? Radius is nothing but length, so O1 A1, O1 A1. So therefore in place of VA1 we are writing it as omega 1 into O1 A1, and cos alpha. So in this triangle cos alpha is nothing but what? A1F divided by A1D. A1F divided by A1D. Similarly VA2 in terms of angular velocity, omega 2 multiplied by the radius, that is O2 A2. Next, cos beta. In this triangle cos beta is nothing but A2F A2F divided by A2C. Next, since A1F and A2F are equal, since A1F and A2F are equal, because this is common side for both the triangle, so therefore above equation becomes, so after simplifying, omega 1 by omega 2 is equals to A1D by O1 A1, because these two get cancelled. So these are the remaining terms. So we are writing in terms of ratio, velocity ratio. Omega 1 divided by omega 2 is equals to, this is remaining one, A1D divided by O1 A1 into O2 A2 divided by A2C. Call this one as equation number 2. So next one, we are going to consider the triangles. So two triangles, that is A1FD, then O1 A1G. Okay, these two are similar triangle, because if I consider the angle, here also we have alpha, therefore we are considering these two triangle. Similarly, A2FC and O2H A2 O2H A2 are similar triangle, because here also it has beta angle. These two are similar triangles, therefore we can equate the sides. So we can equate like this: A1D divided by O1 A1 is equals to A1F, this one, and O1G. Okay. Similarly, if I consider these two triangles, A2C divided by O2 A2 is equals to A2F divided by O2H. So let me call this one as equation number 3. Okay, now substitute this equation 3 in equation number 2. So omega 1 by omega 2 is equals to A1F divided by O1G into O2H divided by A2F. Since A1F is equals to A2F, because this is the common side for both the triangles. See, this is the equation which we got after substituting equation number 3 in equation number 2. So what happens here, A1F and A2F get cancelled. So this is the remaining term, that is omega 1 divided by omega 2 is equals to O2H divided by O1G. So this is nothing but omega 1 and omega 2 represent the angular velocities. So call this one as equation number 4. Now I am going to consider the other two triangles, that is O1 PG, this triangle, and O2 PH. So these two triangles I am considering, and these two triangles are similar. So I am going to consider or equate the sides, that is O1G divided by O2H is equals to O1P divided by O2P. So let me call this one as equation number 5. Now substitute equation number 5 in 4. So I am going to substitute this equation in the equation number 4, because here also we have O1G and O2H. Here also we have O2H and O1G. So in the reverse, or in the, okay, so omega 1 and omega 2, omega 1 divided by omega 2 is equals to O2P divided by O1P. So call this one as equation number 6. So here this equation number 6 represent the velocity ratio. This is nothing but velocity ratio. So therefore, for constant angular velocity ratio of the two gears in contact, the common normal at the point of contact must always intersect at the line of centers at a fixed point or pitch point, and divide this line in the inverse ratio of the angular velocity of the two gears. So this is the fundamental law of a gear. So next one, relative velocity between gear teeth. So what do you mean by relative velocity? So relative velocity is nothing but measurement of velocity between two bodies or objects moving in different frame of reference, which is nothing but relative velocity. So let us consider the same diagram again. So here the relative velocity along the common tangent. So this is the common tangent, right? So along this common tangent we have to find the relative velocity between the two teeth. So relative velocity is represented by VR. So here VR is nothing but relative velocity. VA1 sin alpha plus VA2 sin beta. So here along the common tangent, so we have the line EB, correct? So we have the line EB which is a product of EA plus EB. So here we have another line which is parallel to this, that is DC. So it is a product of DF plus FC. So here also we have considered DF plus FC, the line which is parallel to the common tangent. So DF is nothing but VA1 sin alpha, whereas FC is nothing but VA2 sin beta. So here the linear velocity in terms of angular velocity, let me call this one as equation number 7. So linear velocity in terms of angular velocity, that is omega 1 multiplied by the radius is O1 A1, and sin alpha, in this triangle sin alpha represent df divided by A1 d, df divided by A1 d. Next VA2 can be written as omega 2 into radius is O2 A2, sin beta, in this triangle sin beta opposite side is CF, hypotenuse is A2 C. Call this one as equation number 8. Now I am going to consider the triangles A1 FD and O1 A1G. These two are similar triangle. Similarly A2 FC and A2 O2H. These two are similar triangles. So I am going to equate the sides, that is A1D divided by O1A1 is equals to A1F divided by O1G is equals to DF divided by AG, DF divided by AG, this side. Okay. So next one, if I consider this portion, so A2C divided by O2A2 is equals to A2F divided by O2H, which is equals to CF divided by AH, CF divided by AH. Let me call this one as equation number 9. Now substitute equation number 9 in 8. So what happens if I substitute this equation number 9 in 8? Because here also we have A1D divided by O1 A1, so which is nothing but this one, O1 A1 divided by A1 D. So here in this place I am going to substitute DF by AG. Similarly here also we have O1 A2 divided by A2 C, this term. So I am going to replace this term by CF by AH. Okay, so therefore equation number 8 becomes omega 1 into df into ag by df. So here also we have remaining terms are omega to cf into ah cf. So df get cancelled, cf get cancelled, so the remaining terms are omega 1 ag plus omega 2 ah. So next this ag can be written as, AP plus PG, correct? AP plus PG. So this AG can be written as AP plus PG. Then this AH can be written as AP minus PH, AP minus PH. So I will take omega 1 plus omega 2 as common, therefore AP is a constant, it come outside, or common come outside. Then remaining terms are omega 1 Pg minus omega 2 pH. And we know that omega 1 divided by omega 2 is equals to pH by Pg. Right, from the previous derivation, omega 1 divided by omega 2 is equals to pH by Pg. So VR, that is velocity ratio, becomes omega 1 plus omega 2 into AP. Because, so what happens, omega 1 times of Pg is equals to omega 2 times of pH. Therefore, these two terms get cancelled. So remaining terms are VR is equals to, that is relative velocity is equals to omega 1 plus omega 2 into AP. So therefore, relative velocity can be written as sum of angular velocities multiplied by distance of point of contact from the pitch point. So next one is conjugate action. So what do you mean by conjugate action? So here, in order to produce a constant angular velocity ratio during the time of meshing of the two gaze, a tooth profile should be made in such a way that the surfaces are to be a conjugate. So which is nothing but it has to satisfy the law of gearing. So you can see in the video, so it is producing a constant angular velocity ratio. So then if any of the two gears producing the constant angular velocity ratio, then we call it as a conjugate action. Next, so gear tooth forms. Basically, the two important types of the gear tooth profiles are there. One is a cycloidal tooth profile, another one is involute tooth profile. So during the first session, in the first session of module 5, we have explained what is tooth profile, right? Suppose if this is the tooth, so this is nothing but a tooth profile. Okay, so this tooth profile are basically of two types. One is cycloidal tooth profile, another one is involute tooth profile.